All right, everybody, thanks for tuning in. This is Chris with Drop Dice. So tonight we're doing a one-shot of Souls of Steel. It's Apocalypse World hack that is currently in beta test. If you enjoy what you see and you'd like to get in on the action, I'll go ahead and leave a link to the creator of the files, Miss Dana Freed. She'll be willing to share that with anybody who's willing to give her feedback on the product itself. All right, so tonight let's go ahead and have everybody introduce themselves. We'll go ahead and start with Nelson.
My name is Nelson. I have a YouTube and Facebook group, Infinite Roleplay. I don't know, I play a lot of games, run a lot of games, and do a lot of art.
All right, thank you. And Marquise?
My name is Marquise Hardis. I run the channel Stereotypical Strider, where I put up live plays and helping you write and everything. I'm looking forward to the game tonight.
All right, so everybody at home, since this is Apocalypse World, it runs a little easier when you play it by building your characters during the first session. So the first thing that we're going to do is kind of set up characters. I've already had them pick out stat arrays, which for anybody who gets a hold of the PDF, basically when you get your character class, you basically pick out one of 4 options for stat arrays, which the guys have already done here, which is perfect. And I believe they both have names. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So yes, sir, I'm Rogue Dog.
Yep, my character's name is just Strider.
All right, perfect. So just to kind of give you guys an idea of what your character sheet is showing on here, we talked about what those core stats do. The next thing that we're going to talk about is relationships, which should be a relationship between the player characters, and it can either be either a friendship or a rivalry. And how this works is if it's a friendship and you're aiding a friend, you're going to get a bonus to your aid another check. If it's a rivalry and you're trying to purposely mess up your rival during the game, you get a bonus to that, which is hindering your person. So we've got your characters. How would you guys like to set up a relationship? You should have one relationship with everybody at the table. Since we have 2 today, it's going to have a relationship between the 2 of you.
All right, I'm down for that. What kind of character is Rogue Dog, Nelson?
Well, you know, I saw Loose Cannon in the PDF, and I was like, oh hell yeah. So you know, he watched Rambo way too many times, and now that he's in the military, that's what he's aspiring to be.
Let's see, my character's like a veteran, so it's kind of grizzled and everything, so maybe you could like see potential in your character, but he thinks like you're too hot-headed to use it or something like that.
Okay, so it sounds like it's kind of a budding friendship. It's not like the veteran's not going to officially call it a friendship because, you know, he's grizzled and stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so on your sheets you can go ahead and put in the opposite character's name and then friendship.
All right. There we go.
Okay, so your character names there, Strider and Rogue Dog, are going to be your call signs during the game, just so you're aware. You may have an actual personal name, but Command, which is going to be me, will call you by your call signs mostly. Okay. From there, you get to take a look at those moves that are on your sheet here, all the way to the right. You're going to be able to pick out you get all the basic moves, and then there's a sentence there that says plus whatever it tells you to do on there. Each sheet's a little bit different, so you'll have to check each one of them. So let me pull up the veteran. For example, the veteran says you get all the basic moves plus last stand and 2 more veteran moves. So you can go ahead and just copy and paste that into the editable character sheet and then pick out your other 2 moves. If you have any questions on those moves, let me know.
Alright, so it's like basic moves. Last stand, since I am a veteran, basically does that mean like after my vehicle is disabled, can I just basically fight no matter what as long as I die at the end?
Yeah, basically last stand means that if your vehicle gets disabled, you're going to continue through the combat, and then at the end of the battle, you're going to die. You'll always have a chance to say your last words. Basically, it's kind of like Orc Ferocity, if you're familiar with that from like D&D and Pathfinder.
Alright, sounds good. Alright. I'm gonna do Too Long in the Killing Fields. It's a +1 to steal. And Never Again, which is when I go to the rescue of someone, I can roll +steel instead of +heart.
Okay, perfect.
Back that
All
in
right,
here.
Nelson, let me pull up the loose cannon. Which moves are you looking at?
What's cannon?
Looks like you get all the basic moves plus 2 moves off the list.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna have to get Rambo.
Okay.
That's a, you know.
So how that works is basically when you go in combat, you're a single person, but with Rambo, you now count as a squad, which means you're harder to hit when you face off against single targets or squads that are smaller than you. You are considered to have bonuses to your attacks and things like that.
All right, and I don't know. There's a couple of others that look amazing. Kamikaze, just the name of it.
Okay.
What is that? You can use your vehicle as a weapon. If you do so, you achieve whatever it is you're trying to do, but your vehicle is destroyed. Aww. Twice as bright and +1 fire. Sounds nice. Always throws the first punch. When someone confronts you in a social situation, you can interrupt by punching them. If they were making rolls council, spirit that way, you lose respect. Uh, yeah, I think I'm gonna take always throws the first punch.
Okay. Now, I put at the bottom of your sheets what respect does because the character sheets don't show that. Um, you're going to gain it through the game, and it's basically like a disposable income.
All right. Let's see. Get a reasonable possession. All right.
And I gotta look at all
So
the.
respect is pretty much just for like either trying to basically social situations, I imagine.
Yeah,
All right.
it's mainly used for social situations. However, like say that you're in the combat and command gives you the order to retreat.
Yeah.
If you want to try and get a reasonable concession from command, you could say, "Hey, let's not retreat. I think we can do this. Here's my plan."
All right.
That would be a way to spend your respect.
Sounds like something I might be doing often.
Yeah, we're there. Loose cannon over here.
Okay.
Where'd you do it? I still have ammo.
Now, just double checking here. Could I get both of your genders?
Male.
Male.
Okay. All right. Since this is based in Apocalypse World, there is special moves on there that usually refer to in-squad relationships of the adult manner. We'll just leave it there. Uh, some of those moves may be special and allow you to not just do it with squad mates, but with other people. If that comes up in game, you're going to get that special move. So how this works is to gain experience in the game, because you guys are fairly close to finishing up your characters already, is you're going to roll a stat that we're going to highlight. So you two have a relationship with each other, so I'm going to have you each pick one stat that you'd like to see the other one play up. Again, you can look at what those stats do to kind of get an idea of what you would like to see them do. So if you want to see, like, Strider the veteran play up his steel because he's the veteran, you could select that stat, and then what we'll do is just color it yellow on the
Alright.
character sheet.
Oh, okay. I'll say for the hot shot, I want to see him. Wait, wait, pull that up real quick. I don't know if you have it, but style. I don't know if you chose a stat array to give you more of that, but like I want to see like a really stylish mech runner over here.
I was
Okay.
actually thinking of the same thing for the veteran. In his old age, if he still has any style left.
I'll try. I have a -1 style on it, but I'll do it anyway.
Yeah, your stats don't matter. All you have to do is roll it, so it doesn't matter if you succeed or fail or anything.
Yeah.
So you're both highlighting stat on each other's, or style on each other, so let me highlight those real quick for you.
All right.
And then the GM gets to pick one. Let's see. I am going to say that I want to see Rogue Dog use fire, and I want Marquise to use, or rather Strider to use. Let's see. Let's go with brains.
All right.
So I went ahead and highlighted both of those inside your character sheet so that we can remember which ones are which. So when you go to roll it, again, succeed or fail or otherwise, you will get experience. Now how the experience works is, if you notice there's 5 boxes there, you can just put an X inside the box whenever you gain experience. Once all those boxes are filled in, you'll be able to take an improvement, which is listed towards the bottom there. When you take an improvement, if you want to make it easy for tracking, you can just put an X inside those blanks there to say that you've already taken that improvement, because you can take each improvement once unless it tells you otherwise. Okay.
All right.
And let's go ahead and go over to your vehicle.
All right. It's going to be in the gear section, or?
Yeah, each character sheet, there are 2 pages when you're looking at the PDF document. We're going to basically start with the first page, actually, where it says what your class is. So for like the loose cannon, it should start with primary weapon, and I believe the veteran is the same as well.
I went down to the basic mode. Primary weapon.
Yep.
So this is going to be the primary weapon for your mech.
All right. And what about the choosing of the model?
I'm sorry, say that again?
What about the choosing of the model?
Which model are you referring to?
Because it says, choose one of the following 3 models. Should we choose that before the weapon, or? It would be like 1 armor plus old tech plus antique plus infamous and stuff like that.
I don't even see that.
It's in the vehicle model.
I'm just
yeah, you can start there if you want. That's usually where it starts. Actually, we'll start there. It's on the page. Follow it, like you have the page that says your class. It's the one that's got your moves and stuff. It's the second page.
Okay.
So yeah, go ahead and pick out a vehicle model.
All right.
So you're going to notice that there are things on there, like for the loose cannon, it says 1 armor upgrade plus red line. The red line is what's called a tag. If you want to find out what exactly that does, there's a glossary inside there, and it'll actually show you that red line means that, let me pull it up here. You can push your vehicle past the normal operating parameters, just don't do it too often or too long.
All right.
It's kind of like it's kind of akin to aspects in Fate, but you don't spend things to activate them. They're always considered around and active.
So I went with 1 armor, old tech, antique, and infamous for my tags.
I don't get those choices, but from the one that I'm looking at over here, I want something that looks like that. I don't know how heavy that is, but let me see if I can actually pull it up. Can I pull it up? I can't pull it up. That's great. So yeah, I'm thinking maybe it's probably +1 armor weapon upgrade, or red line. Well, because I was drawing next, so I'm coming as a football player, I guess.
Okay, so you're looking at the one that includes the red line in there.
So yeah, I think that's probably where I'm gonna go. Either that or the +3 armor heavy and slow. No, I don't like heavy and slow. It's either the first or the second one. 0 armor. Who needs armor? Just give me guns. I'm a loose cannon. I'll take 0 armor, weapon upgrade.
Okay. Your armor is effectively DR, just so everybody's clear on that one.
Alright, cool.
Okay. And then the next part is going to talk about weapons, which they tell you to see the back, which is that in the PDF it's actually the first page. So you'll be able to pick out your primary weapon, your secondary weapon, and any sort of upgrades that you have. Like for the loose cannon, you ended up taking zero armor, weapon upgrade, which means you're going to have 2 upgrades to be able to pick from.
Oh,
I only have 2 to pick from.
not jealousy.
Oh no, weapon upgrades over here. Each weapon advantage. Okay. So
So like
second weapon.
if you want to be like the ultimate dude on damage, you could pick out like one of those 3 weapons from your primary and then add another damage to it.
I only get 2 weapons. It's either plus 3 damage plus melee plus obvious, or
Hmm.
3 damage plus very close plus obvious.
Right. Very close would be something like a shotgun where you don't have a whole lot of range, but there's more range than just melee.
Yeah. I want that one. So I'm copying and pasting. So plus 3 damage, very close, obvious. Secondary weapon. Uh, plus.
Alright. My primary was a 3 damage plus melee plus obvious. And my secondary was 2 damage plus very close plus obvious.
You know
Okay.
what? Yeah, I'm gonna switch up. I'm gonna get the plus 3 damage, but melee for the primary, and then the plus 2 damage, very close for the second one.
Okay.
So I have more of a melee. I'm just picturing myself like, having some chain fists or something.
That's cool.
Yeah, to give you an idea on these ranges, melee can only be used in direct physical combat, i.e. arm's length or just a bit further. Very close, you basically have to be right on top of the enemy to use the weapon, i.e. a shotgun accurately.
Yeah. So I get 2 weapon upgrades, right?
Right, and if you want to throw both of those on one weapon, you can, or you can spread it out.
Um, replace very close with close, add in damage, replace close with far. Ooh. Replace obvious with silent. AP area, forceful, guided, EMP or stun, rapid fire.
And then underneath your primary weapon and your secondary weapon, it should have some instructions on there for you, like loose cannon. It's add 2 advantages, 1 disadvantage for both of them. For veteran, I believe you have some freebies in there too.
Each weapon.
So I get 2 advantages plus 2 more upgrades.
Plus 2 more upgrades. Exactly.
What?
Yep,
I didn't do
you get to
the.
be offensive.
Okay, so.
Yeah,
Okay, I got it
for
now. I found it. I had 2 advantages and 1 disadvantage and 1. Okay, I got you.
yep. And then
What?
when you think about this stuff, that can kind of basically tell you or get inside your brain how you want the weaponry to be. So there's nothing that's really been established other than I kind of want them to be more of like Gundam style, where they're kind of big mechs that can go in space, more humanoid shaped. Which is why I've got your damage zones labeled the way they are for your vehicle, and we have to decide where your cockpit is because if you take damage to the cockpit, there's a chance you can die without your mech necessarily being destroyed.
Yeah, it's the head.
You guys want to go with the head?
I'm down for the head. Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
I'll form the head.
Okay.
Thanks.
For this setting, that's going to be kind of universal that cockpits are traditionally in the head.
All right. Hot or dangerous? I'm gonna do hot. So my secondary, I replaced the very close with close, and I gave it plus dangerous, and plus hot, I mean, for the primary.
Okay.
Nope, definitely. I'm gonna give it plus armor piercing. That sounds badass. Then plus.
Okay. Make sure you just put those tags inside where your weapon is, right, as part of the description of your weapon.
Yeah.
So kind of an example, we were talking about how the rules basically go, if you make a 10 or higher, you get to do what you want with no cost. The 7 to 9 category is success with cost, and then 6 and below is absolute failure, and that's going to come with a consequence. So, like, for example, the hot weapon, this weapon has tendency to overheat. If you were to fail, I may say that your weapon overheats and you're going to have to let it cool down for a turn or two.
Alright.
There's not really initiative inside this game. It's more of a cinematic style. So if at one point I feel like the camera should be focused on just Strider, there may be like a back and forth with Strider for a little while before we focus back on Road Dog.
Alright.
Okay, my upgrades are as follows. I took +1 damage and take 1 fewer disadvantage for the base, and the 2 weapon upgrades I put both on my melee weapon, which is simply just 2 more points of damage.
Okay.
So my melee weapon is obvious and does 3 damage. Does 6 damage.
Let me take a look real quick here.
Yeah, we'll take 1 fewer
Okay.
disadvantage too.
So that one's good.
Yep. So it looks like you guys have your weapon advantage disadvantages taken care of. You guys, if you want to name what those weapons are, like maybe you have a beam saber or something like that,
Yeah.
you can go ahead and write those down.
Alright. Primary is just basically like a giant ass metal sword, so. And my secondary is gonna be like a little like shotgun cannon arm.
Okay.
I want mine to be chain fists.
You said a chain fist?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just gonna punch them to pieces.
Yeah.
Every time I hear somebody say chain fist, I always think of the 40K version where it's like this massive oversized chainsaw strapped to your fist.
Yeah.
Well, not chainsaw. Basically, my mech's chain fist is like the fingers all have like chainsaws as part of the finger construction,
Hmm.
and then like a rotating blade in the palm.
Okay.
That's cool.
You both get a personal sidearm as well, and it comes with a choice of, like for loose cannon, it's 1 damage plus hand or 1 damage plus close. So usually a blaster or a blade of some sort.
So sidearm. Alright, I'll do 1 damage plus close. Make it a little pistol.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same here. I don't be walking around a sword if I'm a mech pilot. Unless, wait, there's +1 damage plus close, and what was the other one?
It's plus 1 damage, or it's 1 damage hand or 1 damage close.
You know, I want to do 1 damage hand, so I can have, like, basically grass knuckles.
All right. Cool.
Alright.
So the next thing is, if you're in the PDF, page 15 is where it starts. They have positions in the squad. You each get to pick 1 position as well. These kind of use the military terms, so you'll see stuff like quartermaster, ranking officer, medic are the first 3 there. And you can go ahead and pick out one of those that kind of appropriately matches your character.
What page is that on?
Page 16 is, or sorry, 15 is where it starts.
Alright, I'm thinking I'm going to do sniper. And
Okay.
then make my little arm cannon like the extreme range in here.
Okay.
Yeah, that sniper's cool. Let's see. Determine party targets and eliminate them. Moves Deadeye when you engage an enemy from range with your sniper. Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, each one of these will give you a move and give you some stuff or responsibilities. Like the scout doesn't have any moves, but he gains some specialty things from stuff.
either test pilot or heavy weapon. It sounds nice.
Engage enemy range. Alright.
And then if you want to just copy that down on your sheets, like right below where it says how you can spend respect, that's probably a pretty good place for it.
Arm countdown. Okay. Move. Oh, I'll just pick heavy pilot. Heavy weapons.
Heavy weapons, okay.
Right, is it pilot weapon?
Alright, I added the sniper stuff in there.
Okay.
Haha, incendiary.
That's cool. Test pilot's also pretty cool. I've had the same test machine for 4 years.
Yeah, I'll go with the heavy weapons. Keep it simple. I don't know if there's enough space to add this.
It expands.
Well, let's see. Holy cow, yes it does. Nice.
Alright.
I'm a mech pilot that punches guys in the face.
So do you think we'll actually end up leveling up during this or no?
It is possible. It kind of depends on how you guys roll or what kind of actions you take. Since it only takes 5 experience to level up, it's pretty easy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so with that, you guys should be all set to go. If you want to kind of think about descriptions and things like that, I'll kind of give the intro here. So basically, I mentioned it before, this game is called Souls of Steel. It's Apocalypse World hack that is in beta testing right now, designed for mech fighter pilot combat and gameplay. It's more than just the combat aspect of it. It also captures some of the anime aspects that you see in stuff like Gun and Wing and different mech games and stuff like that out there. So you'll see that there are some social interactions that are also pretty important to the game. The setup here is that there's going to be 3 separate teams, or in this case 3 separate one-shots. This being the first, you're all assigned to the Saber-Class Frigate called the Huntress, under the command of Commander Tewalk from the Terran Collective. You are all low-ranking officer pilots on board and report directly to the commander. Your characters have taken up the positions of sniper and heavy weapons specialist. You guys have been selected to be the first team to go out. What you're looking for is there's a pirate named Robbie Thompson who has a intelligence asset named Mara Riggers that you believe that she may be in danger because she's received you've received a transmission requesting immediate recall. The transmission was cut off before completion, and you are expecting opposition during this hop. You have been authorized for any sort of lethal force that you deem necessary. Your main objective with this mission is to recover the intelligence asset. If she is not able to be recovered, you need to basically take care of the situation, is kind of the polite term that you get from Commander Tewalk. All right, so you guys are in the hangar bay kind of getting geared up. Let's go ahead and start with Rogue Dog. Give me a description of Rogue Dog, if you don't mind.
Like I was saying before when we started, Rogue Dog was the type of guy that watched one too many action movies before, joining up, and is an avid watcher of them now. He walks around following every trope possible: cut off sleeves, headbands wrapped around his biceps, always flexing whenever he thinks someone's looking. You know, doing half like jumps or chest pumps whenever he can to see if someone will jump. Always walking around with a pair of custom stitched up gloves that have brass knuckles incorporated in their design. Rogue Dog always seems to be sweaty and greasy for some reason. He's always messing with his mech. You know, he works on his mech almost as much as he works on himself. He's not in the gym. He's on deck, making sure his mech is ready to roll.
Okay. And let's go ahead and get a description of Strider.
So Strider, he's an old man and everything. This is not his first mission. More than likely won't be his last mission. He's clean shaven, which to be respectful, but because of that, you can see the scars on his face and everything from the countless combats he's been through. Unlike Road Dogg, he tends to wear his uniform pretty much day and night, no matter where he goes or what the occasion is. His hair is cut very short. It's gray and everything. He's been in this for a very long time. His eyes are very intense, very focused. When he walks around, he has like an aura around him that's just like an aura of seriousness and intensity. Kind of like this person knows what he's doing and he wants to get it done above all else. He does spend a lot of time with his mech as well, but not to really work over or anything, but just because to him, he's had this mech for so long and it's been unbroken for so long. It's just like it's basically his child to him, like another brother, you could say. So he's very close with his mech as well. Even though he's respected by other officers, he doesn't really talk to other officers that much, just because he doesn't like getting too attached with the new officers, which kind of strains things between him and Rogue Dogg. But over time, Rogue Dogg's growing on him because he did used to be a hothead before basically countless missions just cut that out of him. So that's right there.
All right. So like I said, you guys are in the hangar bay kind of getting your equipment checks done, and in walks Commander Tewalk. Tewalk kind of smells a bit like chocolate. You know that that's actually because he flavors flavored cigarettes, and he smokes constantly. So he has almost this tobacco and chocolate scent to him, and you can smell him before he comes up. Gentlemen, are you ready?
Always ready to rock, ready to roll at all times.
Strider doesn't say anything at Rogue Dogg's the way he speaks and everything, but makes a mental note about how he doesn't like it. But he looks at the general, he nods curtly, he's like, "Yes, I'm ready for the mission."
Excellent. You have been assigned Strike Team Alpha as your call sign. You will also be referred to as Rogue Dogg and Strider as open call signs. Communication will be needed during this mission. We believe that we have picked up Thompson. It looks like his ship has been injured, and he is out of commission. Your mission will be to clear out any sort of undesirables that may be protecting the ship. Secure the security asset, and if need be, terminate all threats. Is this understood?
I like the sound of that.
Go ahead.
That's all he says. I like the sound of that.
Strider nods again. He's not nearly excited as Rogue Dogg is, but he's been in enough missions where he's had to kill everybody that is just kind of unfazed about it. He's just like,
Okay. Excellent. You launch in 5 minutes. What you guys know, 5 minutes is really not enough time, so you guys have to kind of rush to get into your mechs and everything, because they're going to start clearing the flight deck for you.
Strider doesn't say anything at this short timetable, but he looks at Rogue Dogg and he says, "Listen." And he's adjusting his gloves as he says this. He says, "Listen, I know how you like to be out there, but we need to get the intelligence asset first, and then we start shooting. Do you understand?"
Man, all I'm worried about is if you can keep up with me, old man.
He doesn't say anything to that. He just finishes adjusting his gloves and he starts walking to his cockpit to get ready to get in.
Yeah, Rogue Dogg runs to his cockpit. Like if it's a race.
And as Strider gets there, one of the assistants, he's also old timer, been in there for a long time, and he nods the Strider, and Strider nods back and he says, "You gonna come back from this one?" And I'm like, "I always do, don't I?" And the old man, he's like stroking his beard as he's talking. He's like, "Your machine's not as good as it used to be. It's not, but it'll get the job done. Always has, always will." And I step into the cockpit and start preparing and strapping in and all that.
Okay. As you guys start strapping in, you get intelligence streaming to your screens of basically the system that you're in. This is pretty common before launch. You get kind of a quick debriefing from your machines. You find out that this is a trinary system, meaning that it has 3 suns and lots of radiation. The fact that the ship has gone dead here means that they only have a limited amount of time before radiation poisoning becomes an issue, which is why there's going to be 3 strike teams if needed to accomplish this mission, you guys being assigned as the first strike team. You were also warned about receiving too much collateral damage if your cockpit becomes damaged beyond repair or feels unsafe. You are to return to ship and not get yourselves killed, basically. All right, so you guys get the clearance and the lights come on along the flight deck, and you get sent out. The veteran first, so Strider will make his flight checks and go out, and then Rogue Dog will come in after him. Go ahead and describe your mechs now.
Alright, so Strider's mech is very old. It's an antique. It's made 20, 30 years ago. Far old model. It's very gray, very dented and everything. It's got to the point where even when they try to polish it and rebuff it and everything, it's still pretty scratched up and still looks pretty rickety compared to the newer models of mechs. On the back of it is just this giant slab of metal attached to a hilt. You could say it's a sword, but it really looks too impractical and too unreal to be one. And the left arm completely just is far blockier than the right arm, and it looks like the hand actually like slides into it, because that's basically where he fires a shotgun cannon from that area to snipe people with. The head is also blocky instead of like an actual face. It's like a solid screen there, thick glass and all that for you to look out of and everything, because it is an old model. And other than that, just like humanoid and all that, just gray, beat up, rickety mech essentially.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
Rogue Dog's mech is I'm screen sharing how it, the basic shape of it, but it's built more like how you would see a football player, pretty top heavy, slats of armor. It's not necessarily as beat up or as rickety as Strider's mech. Rogue Dog is constantly taking care of his mech, like if the mech was his own personal little hot rod. Always making sure that he takes point on repairs, making sure that they're done at all times. He has little decals posted all over his mech. The deepest scratches on his mech are all by the cockpit, the head, and it's pretty much a kill count. And it just goes circles around and around and around. And it almost looks like it's framing the cockpit like the rays of the sun.
okay. So you guys head out. This being a trinary system, there we go. I'll figure out words later. This being a trinary system, you guys will start checking your gauges pretty much as you go out to make sure that you're not getting any sort of radiation leaks or anything like that. You stay close to the ship for a few minutes to get kind of your bearings and assess the situation as far as what your mechs are doing. It looks like you're all green. Everything looks good to go. And you are transmitted the coordinates for this distress beacon that you've picked up that Command believes to be Robbie.
All right. So, I'm looking at the information and everything, and my mech is just kind of like shooting out steam from the coolant inside of it, because, like I said, it's an old model. And he puts on the intercom, and he's like, "Listen, Rogue Dog, we have to be careful. No asteroids, no planets, nothing out there to hide behind. We find the ship, you be on lookout as I try to get the intel out."
Rogue Dog is doesn't bother to respond. He's too busy sticking an earbud into one of his ears and starting to blast some music.
Strider would have waited a minute for the response.
You look over at like the visual display and you see him kind of doing this move, trying to be all sneaky about it.
Strider sees it and he just kind of like scowls at Rogue Dog through the visual display, but he doesn't say anything. And he slightly pushes up on the handles of the mech and it begins flying in the direction of the distress signal.
Okay, so you guys start going there. Now, him having the older mech, it's really easy for Rogue Dog to keep up especially because your mech has a little bit more advanced capabilities on it. But as you approach, you see a freighter that is named because you can see its label on the side. It is named, I lost my name here, Stellar Endeavor.
All right.
Across your screen, you get an objective from command that says access the Stellar Endeavors, assess the Stellar Endeavors damage and provide assistance if needed. If Robbie, capture and rescue the asset.
So I'll push forward a little harder on the handles to get close to it, and I say, "Rogue Dog, be on the lookout." So he keeps nervously looking at his radar and everything because he doesn't want to get ambushed and all that. He's moving towards the Stellar Endeavor while trying to bring up schematics and everything, see what the damage is, pull out memory if he has to.
Okay, so what it looks like you're doing is trying to assess the situation. So go ahead and give me a roll. Rolls are 2d6 plus your correlating stat.
All right, so it's going to be plus brains or?
Correct, unless you have something that changes that.
All right, and that's going to make that a 7.
Okay, so what you're going to go over the schematics, and it looks like there's some engine damage. It looks like the ship has been disabled. It doesn't look like it's going anywhere. Judging by like the ion trail and things like that you can kind of calculate, it looks like it's been out here for about 2 hours. Another hour longer and radiation damage would be a problem since the engine itself is down. Their radiation shields are down as well.
All right. Noting this, I'm going to send the information and kind of like a little file kind of thing to Rogue Dog and also back to command. And then as I get closer to the Stellar Endeavor, I'm trying to communicate with it, trying to establish a communication line between my mech and the ship.
Okay. So the Stellar Endeavor as a frigate is large enough to actually hold you guys on board. There's actually like a way for you guys to get in. You're going to open up hailing frequency, and you'll see a man come on screen, and you quickly check it against the personnel dossier that you have against Robbie, and this doesn't look like him. He says, "Thank you for the assistance. We've burnt out our cooling coils. The engine won't go anywhere, and we need assistance."
Where is Commander Robbie?
I don't know who Commander Robbie is. My name is Rykith.
Rykith. And out of character name, it was Robbie I'm looking for, right?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you not know who Robbie is? He's commander of the ship.
I am the commander of this ship. My name's Rykith Johnson.
A personnel dossier says no, you are not commanding the ship. Looking through databanks, still not commanding of the ship.
Okay, so because you're actively looking through, you plug in his name, and he comes up as a pirate as well. Not the one you're looking for, but he is definitely a pirate.
All right. And I say, put me on the Commander Robbie right now, or I will be forced to basically escalate the situation.
We have nothing to do with Robbie.
Alright. Terminate. Oh, go ahead, Rogue Dog.
Were we outside of our mechs? We're outside.
No, you guys are in the mechs outside of the ship. Basically, like the ship is a couple 100 meters in front of you, and it's been disabled.
I terminate communications, and I say to Rogue Dog and to command, Rykith, the pirate has taken over the ship. Terminating now. And as I say that, the right hand of my mech opens up and just slides into the arm cannon and starts to twist as a long barrel comes out of it, and I aim it at the ship. And I want to see if something happens.
You'll get a message from command that says, orders are to capture Rykith, destroy any assets needed. Rykith may have intelligence. He's previously worked with Robbie.
Understood. Alright, so barrel's still out. I say to Rogue Dog, move in, see if you can just get him out safely. Probably going to be something coming out of the ship. Be careful. I'll give you cover fire.
Yeah, I'll just throttle up, full speed ahead.
Okay. So you throttle up and you're going in screaming at full speed towards the hangar hatch, and this is one of those Star Trek kind of hangar hatches where it's just got like a force field and it's an open bay. As you come in, you see two mechs, guns barreled straight forward towards the entrance, and they open up fire on you. What you can do is, if you would like, you may stand firm against the attack, which means basically you're going to hold your ground and basically let them come at you. Or you can go in like guns blazing and return fire and just get right in their faces.
Yeah, option number 2, please.
Okay. So
Hey,
that's
can I
going to be
go?
the.
When I see them pointing their guns at me, I just sort of the other earbud in.
And what is the music of the mood there?
Oh, we're listening to metal.
Okay.
Can
All
I
right.
use my
So
Deadeye move to give him cover?
let me take a look here.
Snipe one of them out. Help my boy.
Yeah, you can. You would be taking shots against the ship to try and rock them.
All right. So I'm going to, I'm playing around with the levers and everything. I one of them that normally horizontal. I turn it up like this. I kind of lift it higher, and as I do, like the screen begins to zoom in for me, and it starts highlighting different points on the mechs and on the ship that you would want to aim at from the schematics. And I aim at one of them on the ship that's near the mechs to try, to stabilize and knock off the fire when I shoot that point. And the
Hmm.
arm cannon just kind of lifts up slowly, and I take a careful aim as the crosshairs all kind of coalesce into one area, and I pull the trigger to fire.
Okay. So what that is actually you'll be basically going in guns blazing is
All
the
right.
move. So go ahead. Both of you are going to do the guns blazing move. So go ahead and roll for it. It is roll plus fire unless your class modifies it.
All right. So that is a 6. Sorry, 7. Nope, 6.
7.
Yeah.
6. Okay.
Yeah.
And Nelson?
5.
5. Okay. So Nelson, shots come in, and it looks like he's trying to hit something, and he's clearly missed. It's jerking you off your path, and you light up your cannons, but you're missing them because of all the action that's going in. They're going to start firing in on you, and you're going to take 2 damage, which your armor may stop if you have any,
Nope.
going to your left leg. Each portion of your mech can take up to 4 damage, by the way.
Okay.
All right. So having seen that basically my shot failed, I want to take aim again. The crosshairs redistribute and recoalesce again on top of one of the enemy mechs. And I'm
Okay.
aiming straight for the head, as this time another plasma round is just fired straight at it. So that
Okay.
is a 10 plus 1, so 11.
All right, perfect. So you go ahead and start firing towards the head, and you got high enough that you're going to be able to nail it. You kind of reposition yourself so that you can actually get a clear shot into the hangar to provide some real
Mhm.
cover this time, and you nail him right in the head. What is your damage that you output?
The damage for that is going to be 2 damage.
2 damage. Okay.
Mhm.
You hit him, and you can see like bits of his armor start peeling back and breaking away. Because you've got sensors and things like that on it, you're also going to notice that the ship's engines are coming back to life, and the shielding is coming back on. That's already started up. So right now, Road Dogg is actually separated from you because of the defensive shield. You're going to have to take down the shield if you want to get in the ship and join him.
All right. I'll let Road
All
Dogg do
right.
his thing.
Yeah, is there
Let's go
is
ahead and
there
go over to Rogue Dog here.
is
You've
there
got two
anything
pilots. One has been injured to the head.
is there anything in here like a control unit? Like it just be
Yeah, there's actually, if you look around, there's actually a control panel, and you know from experience that control panels, especially on like freight cargo freighters, if you hit that in space, it's going to drop the shields around the entrance, and it's going to cause a vacuum to happen. Depending on their gear, they may get sucked out, but you're going to empty this room of all the boxes and crates that are in here if you do that, which may cause them damage while it's going out as well.
Yeah, I'm just gonna blow that up.
Okay.
Coming in there and getting shot in the leg. I just, the mech just stands up, points the gun towards the head of the cockpit,
Okay,
Like
I'm
I'm
going to
just
say that that is doing something gutsy because you're going to have to kind of dart in between them to get yourself to a place where you can lock in and destroy that panel.
all right. So that's what style, right?
Yep. And you're going to get experience for this one.
All right. What, do I get experience anytime I do a roll that is highlighted?
Yep.
So because I fired already, so that's
Yeah, you got one for firing and you got one for style now.
what? Okay, so my style is 0, so I get a 9.
And Strider got one for brains earlier.
Yep, I marked it.
So I get a 9 on my roll.
Okay. All right, so you hit the panel and the cargo starts shifting around inside here, getting sucked out, and it starts hitting them. And you can see it's doing damage to them, but it's also hit you, which caused you to lose that anchor point that you had. I'm going to need you to try and stand firm so that you don't get sucked out with this thing.
So what is that?
That's going to be a rolling your steel.
Oh, the steel. Okay. 5.
Okay. Unfortunately, that's not enough. You're actually going to get sucked out, and now you're outside of the ship, and we're going to switch over to our sniper, who's going to see you getting sucked out of the ship as he's lining up his next move.
Now, are the shields still up around the ship, or no?
Yeah, the shields are up, except for the area where cargo's being ejected. There's a hole there. So you
Alright,
could actually
so
fire through that hole if you want to go for the mechs.
okay, so I take the right hand handle and I twist it real quick, and as I do that, my mech quickly like turns and starts shooting up towards that path, and it's going to basically reposition itself right, like I would say, sort of 30 feet to the side of where Rogue Dog is coming out as I line up another shot, and I'm
Mhm.
aiming at the head again using the Deadeye move at the mech I already shot earlier.
Okay. Unfortunately, he is aware of you, so it's not going to be Deadeye. It's just going to be you're just going to go in guns blazing.
All right, that's fine. All right, so that is a 3 plus 1 as a 8.
It's an 8. All right,
Yep.
perfect. So you're going to go ahead and do your damage. That's another 2. You're going to see the head of this unit just rip away, and you're going to notice that there was no cockpit there. It's still moving around. He's obviously using some sort of alternate design pattern. So now you'll have to figure out where his cockpit is.
Mm.
I have a question.
Yep.
The counting as a squad, would that have worked for me yet or no?
Would you two have worked together in the past? Yes.
No, the Rambo thing.
Oh, for Rambo, yes.
Yeah.
It's basically going to mean you do more damage, which I accounted for the last time.
Okay.
All right,
Right
so
now, they're actually a squad, and you count as a squad. So when you're going in there, you're not getting any penalties. Like if Marquise goes in there by himself, he's going to get some penalties that he's going to have to worry about with them being a squad.
So I
Okay.
quickly unscrew the handle and I turn it back and put it back down and everything, and now I'm trying to think where the cockpit is as the arm cannon retracts and I'm reaching for my sword on the back of
Okay.
the mech.
And the one that you blew the head off is actually going to charge you, and you see it's got a beam Qatar that shifts out of its gauntlet, and it runs forward and it goes in to just land its attack against you. It's going to do 2 damage to your right arm.
All right. Go ahead and mark that real quick. All right.
After it hits you, you can see that there's like smoke resonating from the arm piece, and he cuts off the beam Qatar, which lets you know that's probably a hot weapon.
Mm-hmm.
The second one is actually going to he's kind of planted himself, and he's going to pull out what looks like a modified assault rifle for this mech, and he's going to open fire on Nelson. Since you're scrambling around, let me give you some random targeting here. All right, he's going to hit you in the left leg for 1 point of damage.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and let's go to Rogue Dog. Rogue Dog, you've been shifted out of there, and you can see that the cargo hold is about to shut its emergency shutters. If you want to charge in there, you could probably get back in right now. But if you wait and try and do it later, that cargo bay is going to get sealed.
Oh no, I'm charging in there and flying out, spinning around, cutting my jets back on to gain control. I just
Okay.
make a line straight for the guy that's still inside with the assault rifle.
You're just going to like spear tackle him.
I'm gonna spear him. I'm basically like I'm a Superman punch him as my chain fish starts whirring to life.
All right, awesome. Let's go in guns blazing.
Uh, that's 9. Yeah, 7-9.
Okay. So you go in there and he's going to kind of lean back and he's going to put his gun up as you come in and he's going to get a shot off in you as you're punching him. Go ahead and do your damage.
Do I roll it or I just do the damage just listed?
You just tell me what the damage is.
6.
6? Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, you punch into him. He has a standard mech style mech, so when you hit him in the body, and it just rips him apart in half. He's still got his arms, and that's how he's able to shoot you. But you know that he's got his mech's pilot seat in the head probably because he's not done yet. He's going to do 2 points of damage to your body.
Okay.
All right, now Marquise, let's go ahead and have you go. The shutter for the cargo bay is going to finally close. There's a lot of freights that are going to hit that thing and fall apart and break apart. You're going to see that they have some illegal arms that they're transporting because those freight boxes broke open and there's a bunch of like blaster rifles and things like that inside there that are military issue.
Alright, so my eyes narrow as I see the breaks in, it's like the crates shattering and the weapons coming out and everything, and I curse slightly under my breath as I see Rogue Dog charge in there foolishly, separating himself from me. So knowing this is a very urgent situation now, as I grab the sword, like if anyone was watching, they would see the arm actually start rotating really quickly in several different places, and there's like an explosion of steam behind my mech as the sword comes free, and I'm bringing it straight down, trying to cleave the mech in front of me in half.
All right, awesome. Go ahead and go in guns blazing.
Alright. So that is a wow, that's a 6.
All right. So you go in and it sidesteps your attack, and what it does is it shoots over at the crates, causing the crates to explode, and there's just a hole rip now. It's actually going to catch you off guard, and it's going to pull you out of the ship. The shield is back on, so you're going to actually hit that energy shield that's keeping out the radiation and everything. It's a particle shield, so you're not going to be able to pass it. You're just going to get slammed against it. Go ahead and do 2 damage to your body.
Alright. And I'm cursing very loudly now as my mech just goes boom and just hits it. You know, you see steam and pieces of the body is coming flaking off from it. Another dent, another battle happens all the time.
Now that you're out there, you can actually see explosions happening towards the engine room area, or towards the engines of the ship itself. It's nothing that you guys did, by the way.
Alright, so I'm going to push forward with my mech at full speed. I see the explosions and everything, and I want to go check out, but I also want to help Rogue Dog. But before I can do anything else, I need to destroy this bastard in front of me. I don't want him to shoot me in the back, or even worse, kill Rogue Dog. So I'm going to come straight at him, full speed and everything, sword covered in steam as I go and try and stab it forward straight through this guy.
All right.
Alright. Wow, I'm not getting any luck. That is another 6.
Okay, so he dodges you, and he's going to shoot you in the left arm. So go ahead and take 2 damage there.
Alright.
If you just keep in mind, if you have armor, your armor counts as damage reduction, from what I'm saying.
Alright. I think it's 1 for everything then.
Yeah, I was going to say everything that you've gotten so far is 2 damage, except for Rogue Dog got 1 point of damage from getting shot in the leg at some point.
So is that with? So you said that's with the armor already calculated, or no?
No, I'm not calculating for your armor.
Okay,
I'm just giving you the rough number.
I gotcha. All right then. So you know, you say he shot in the left arm.
Yeah, we'll say the left arm.
Okay, so that's actually a hot weapon. So now you can see the armor actually starting to glow white hot as it hits the coolant and everything, and it was still cooling down. So liquid is also spilling out of it. But not caring, I place both of the rope mech's hands on the weapons, and I grab both the handles. And I pretty much like pull them in a complete half semicircle. And as that happens, the mech is mirroring it, bringing the sword across, trying to basically again cut this dude down. Let's
Okay.
hope I actually hit this time. Wow, a 3. I
All right,
rolled
so
nothing.
your weapon actually gets so hot that it shuts down mid swing, and like you hit him, but like it's lost all the charged momentum that you get because like you have basically an engine core and a gyroscope inside this sword that make it like hit so hard. So it
Yeah.
just kind of like hits and just kind of like slides off him. He turns around and he's actually going to disarm you. Because he sees that your weapon's hot, and he's going to basically kick your sword out of your. Or sorry, no, this is the guy that's ripped in half, isn't it? No,
Yeah. No, this
this
guy
is
with
the
no
guy
head.
missing the head.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to kick the sword out of your arms, and now that you're actually up close and personal, you can see that
Mhm.
the pilot is actually in the body because there's some armor plates that are giving it away.
Mhm. All right, so the sword is knocked from my hands and everything, and I curse again, but I just push forward with both the levers. I'm trying to basically tackle this guy into the energy shield
Okay,
as hard as I can.
let's go ahead and shift over to Nelson, and then we'll come back to that. All
All
right,
right.
so what is Rogue Dog doing right now?
Yeah, just like literally shoving his chain fist right through the torso of this enemy's mech. You can see Rogue Dog in his cockpit, just like head banging away,
Yep, you've got him
grinning,
ripped in half right now.
grinning, and then he just flicks a couple of switches up top, smiles, pulls back his lever, and the fist never retracted. He's trying to drag his fist and the chain fist up through the rest of the body into the head.
Okay, go ahead and go in guns blazing. All right, so what's going to end up happening is the mech is going to see your move this time because you kind of caught him by surprise last time, and he's going to kind of like push your arm out of the way, and he's going to level his gun right to your head and take a shot. Um, he's going to do 1 point of damage to your head. You guys are going to hear more explosions. Nelson, or actually, Rogue Dog, let's go ahead and do another round for you here.
Yeah, almost seeing the gun being levied at the mech's head, Rogue Dog will jump to the side as if it made a difference, knowing that he doesn't have a lot of armor. Oh,
Yeah, you're still going to get the damage. You can respond if you want,
yeah.
like grab the gun or do whatever you want to do.
No, him in his seat shifts.
Oh, yeah, he's going to shift in his seat uselessly.
Yeah, uselessly shift in his seat. Just by pure reaction. And then after doing so, it's like, hey, no. Grabs both the handles and starts working them to bring the fist, to cock it back and almost aim with his other hand and try to finish this.
Okay,
This
perfect.
pilot.
By the way, I forgot to mention when you did something gutsy, you rolled high enough so you gained respect for that. So go ahead and give yourself +1 respect.
Okay.
Okay, so go ahead and punch him.
2 and 1 are the favorite numbers on Dice Stream for me.
Are not favorable, unfortunately. All right, so you go in, and this time the mech sees what you're doing, and what he's gonna do is he's actually gonna kind of like lift up and kick with both, or actually his legs are gone. He's gonna push you off with both arms, and because the gravity's so shifted right now, he's actually gonna just like shove you out of the bay a little bit, and he's gonna start lining up a shot. You can see he's like really aiming for your cockpit now. Like there's no denying where that next shot's going. All right, let's shift over to Strider.
All right, so I'm trying to grab both arms of the enemy mech, and I'm just trying to move full speed, slamming it into the energy wall.
Okay. So normally we could say this is going in guns blazing, but I actually want to do it as doing something gutsy to try and just put him out of his misery by slamming him through the wall.
Okay, let's see here. Okay, I have a -1 to that. Dice has been nice to me tonight, so that it would have been a pass, but now it is a 6.
It's a 6. All right. So you start charging, and you've got him. And what he ends up doing is he grabs your arms, twisted them, and he does like this barrel roll, and you end up the one pinned against the shield.
All right. So as I smack into the shield and everything, it's not like air is popping up and everything. The mesh is blaring through the cockpit and all that, and I'm lifting up and pulling out the left liver again. And this time, it outlines the left arm of my mech, and it, has it outlined in red because the weapon's starting to overheat if I use it a third time. But I need to kill this guy regardless, so I'm basically trying to overheat the weapon and kind of blow it up on top of both of us.
Okay.
The left arm cannon.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna say that's a gutsy thing too.
All right. Let's see here. 5.
Man, Dice Stream is not loving you guys tonight. All right, so with 5, actually, let me just look at something real quick here.
At least I'm getting XP because of the style.
Yeah. So I just wanted to check if you could spend respect on a combat move, but it looks like it's mainly for social moves, unfortunately. All right, so you will fire this thing up, and you're going to see it start to overheat much faster than you can actually react to it, and you know that it's going to go off, but you haven't gotten it placed correctly. You could choose to bail on it right now, and you'll just lose that weapon. You'll have to retrieve your sword or just go in punching him, which you know is not going to do much damage. But if you hold on to this weapon, it's probably going to damage you out of the whole thing.
I'm just going to let go of the weapon. I'm going to let the arm cannon come off and explode.
Okay, so with that choice, what's happened is the explosion has actually shifted the balance of kind of this grapple that's going on right now, and he's off of you, so you can actually break away now.
So I want to break away, just kind of just kick him away, and explosions of steam coming from where a kick or punch would hopefully land, and then move full speed towards my sword.
Okay, as you start moving, you're going to hear some more explosions, and you'll see a very small mech actually shoot out from the top of the ship, and the shields actually starts to come down.
All right. So as the shields are coming down, I'm trying to hail the mech, so I open up communications between my mech and that mech as I'm grabbing the sword and whipping it out of the hull of the ship.
Okay. You can tell just by looking at it, it's not of Terran Collective design. It is definitely one of the rogue mechs that are out there, whether it's pirate or somebody has put it together for some sort of other reason. You can go ahead and hail it. You'll make it down to your sword. You won't get a response from that mech.
All right. So I curse under my breath. Oh, go ahead.
And we'll go ahead and shift over to Rogue Dog again.
All right.
Yeah, Rogue Dog is trying not to get blown up, but he's gonna try not to get blown up by blowing the other guy up first. Seeing that he's flipping the gun right at his cockpit, Rogue Dog just screams, "Ah!" Flips one of his switches, and several ports open up in the chest area, and fire a rapid fire shot. Oh, there's atmosphere in here, right?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
Well, it's shifting right now. There's still atmosphere inside the room right now, but it's being sucked out.
Okay.
Are you using your Alpha Strike?
Alpha Strike?
Yeah, from being heavy weapons. Basically, you open up and you attack with multiple weapons at once.
Ooh, I forgot about that. Yeah, how many weapons can I attack with?
You're going to have 2 weapons that you will be able to attack with. You can use your close guns and your chain fist.
I have 2 close guns.
Okay, so then that will be 3 if you want to use all of it, because he's right on top of you and you can.
Oh, well, all right. Then I'll do that. Do I roll 3 times, or is it just 1 roll?
Nope, it's going to be 1 roll plus 3.
Oh, okay.
Awesome. So you just you're like, no, I've had enough of this. You flip your switch. There's like a little flashing skull on your screen that's like, are you sure you want to continue this operation? You like punch the screen, and then all of a sudden like salvos open up, and you just grab his head with your chain fist, and that swirling part in the center just rips into the cockpit, and you can hear like the dude screaming because there's still a little bit of atmosphere in there, but like he's done for.
Yeah. Is Strider still fighting that other mech?
The other mech is outside. Strider has made it in and picked up his sword. It looks like he had to dump his gun. And now that you've had a chance to kind of assess your screens, you're going to see that Strider has sent you a message saying that another mech has ejected from the ship.
Um, I'm gonna make my way towards Strider, but the hulking mass of metal and bits that was the head and the cockpit. I'm still holding it while I'm running uh, towards Strider.
Okay.
Just
So you guys will unite with each other, and you know that there's the other pilot outside that is starting to kind of turn around and get gun barreled in on you guys. He's actually staying outside of the ship at this point. Um, you guys are starting to catch communications, and because you're within the ship itself, so your comms are picking up the ship's internal comms and things like that. And you hear that there's a fire in the engine bay. Unknown mech has blown a hole through the ship that the left half of the ship has been compromised, and no one can travel through there. Then you hear another report that says that at least it put out the fire in the engine room. It sounds like Robbie is still on board because he's the one that made the comment of at least it put out the fire in the engine, or not Robbie, excuse me. Ricketh is still on board because he was the one that made the comment about the engine room's fire being out.
So hearing this communications everything, I pull up both the levers and I say over the transmission to a road dog, I say, focus the same one I do. Let the unknown one stay unknown for a bit longer. I turn my mech around and I'm blasting back outside towards the one I've been fighting this whole time.
All right, perfect. So in that case, I would like Rogue Dog, if you're going to help, let's go ahead and do an assist roll.
Okay.
You're going to roll plus your relationship, so it's going to be roll +1. Or sorry, +2 because you're friends.
Cool. I get 11, 13.
All right, perfect. So that is successful. So what it's going to do is actually increase the level of success that that Strider is going to get. So Strider, go ahead and go in guns blazing.
All right.
And you guys,
so that is that's an 8, 9.
perfect. So a 9, so you're actually going to get complete success without cost because of the aid. So go ahead and tell me what you guys are doing. We'll start with the assistance. How are you assisting in his maneuver? We know that he's charging him with a sword at least.
How am I assisting him in like damage or like distracting?
Yeah, how are you assisting? Because you're both basically opening fire on him, or in his case, he's going in with the sword. Go ahead and tell me what you're doing to assist in the situation.
Um, I'm just gonna use my weapons to sort of corral him. You know, starting by throwing the hulking mass that was once the cockpit in the previous match, for a little bit of a distraction in one direction, and wherever he moves, I'm firing shots to intercept his path, so that
Okay.
he can stop moving, so that he stays in the right
So he kind of
spot.
gets cornered in between two rates of fire. All right, cool. And then so I take it that means Strider's going to be coming right down the middle of the lane there, and you go ahead and tell me what you're doing with your attack there.
So Strider and his mech are moving down and everything. Strider at this point is basically sweating bullets because he's lost his main weapon. Well, not his main weapon, but his most important weapon, which is the sniper rifle. But he's still determined to, get the mission done and everything. He's good at staying calm and all that. And if it's kind of like, like a movie or anime, something like as the bullets and everything are kind of like sandwiching this dude in, like you would see like the glint of that like reflecting off of his sword as he jumps up, and like the sword has a jaw disc in it, it's kind of spinning in the hand, and it comes down in one like kind of like whirlwind strike, and as it does, the actual hulking mass of the former cockpit hits it and like splits in half, dead even down the middle, and goes flying both ways into the hail of gunfire as the gyro sword comes straight down onto the cockpit or the torso.
Awesome. So when you hit the torso cockpit there, it's going to be how much damage?
3.
3. All right, that's going to be enough. You're actually going to split the mech, and the mech is going to shift out to the range of fire, and then the fire is just going to make him explode. That guy's all taken care of. You know that Ricketh is still on board, and there is an unknown mech that has left the ship.
Alright, so Strider and his mate, they come smashing back onto the ship and everything, framed by 2 large explosions, bits of metal just being caught in the orbit of space and everything shooting that way. And I say, Rogue Dog, handle the unknown mech, figure it out, I'm going to take Ricketh. And I turn around and now I'm blasting towards the actual, back into the hatcher bay.
Okay, so you're back in the bay itself. Your suit does have an atmosphere helmet, so you can actually get out. The ship itself from this point forward is designed for you to be in person, unless you want to, wreck your way through this thing. That's your call.
Probably, since we do want to retrieve the ship and not not return it totally destroyed, but I do know it's going to be dangerous as a one man versus basically a pirate army in there. So knowing that there is a pirate army, I'm just going to stab my sword straight into the nearest hole or hatch above me and everything, and start tearing through as much as I can, suck everyone out. Other than that would be in the main room, and then I would want to get out and start heading up there.
Okay, so you basically just bore a hole through the wall, and you see 8 pirates that were waiting for you with guns and stuff get sucked out into space, and they're done for because they're not wearing atmosphere gear or anything.
Right, and as they get sucked and everything, I hit a few buttons, and the cockpit opens up, and I go, jumping out slow motion because no gravity and everything, and I'm trying to move up towards the, I forgot what you call it, the operation room or whatever.
Yeah, you can go to to the con is what it's usually called.
Yeah, and I have one hand on my pistol as I'm approaching it.
Okay, so you'll start heading down the hallways, and are you trying to be stealthy, or are you looking at trying to go in there and just kind of take down anybody that gets in your way?
I want to be stealthy about it, but if I see someone, I want to shoot them the moment I see them. Just kind of pick people off.
Okay, no problem. So you're going to go ahead, and what I'd like you to do is assess the situation, and that's going to be you kind of tactfully moving around the ship is how we're going to say that works.
So that's brains, and that's +1. Wow, whew, I got a 6.
Okay. So normally when you assess the situation, you get some questions that you can have answered as well. The last time I kind of gave you some answers without really going through the questions, so I apologize about that. We'll do it next time we get to that point. What you're going to basically do is you're going to kind of go through the ship, and you're going to get yourself kind of stuck in a firefight, and we'll come back to that in a second. You're going to kind of be stuck in a T intersection between two bad angles to be at. Let's go back over to Rogue Dog.
I have a question. I already got 5 experience.
Okay, perfect. If you have 5 experience, you will empty your experience track down to 0, and then you get to pick a new move. If you look towards the bottom, it says Advancements on your sheet and tells you what you can do to spin that.
I already know what I'm going to take because it's simple and sweet.
I was going to say you can get a +1 to any of your core virtues, pick another move from your archetype, or pick one from another archetype if you have something you're interested in.
Yeah, I mean this happened really fast.
Yeah, experience goes pretty quick, especially if fire happens to be one of them and you're in a combat situation.
So I'm gonna take twice as bright.
Okay.
Since we seem to be in combat and I'm at least cannon. So that's a 3 now, and I'm just gonna head in whatever direction I think this other mech went, and start checking my systems, any long range, short range scans.
Okay, so you get out there and you start flicking on. You assess your systems as you're turning on your different sensory systems, and you're going to look around and you think you catch something, but it goes off your screen pretty quickly. It looks like it's heading towards one of the planets inside the system. It's got an asteroid belt, and that may be due to the minerals and things like that in the asteroid belt that maybe caused a false read on your screen. That's been known to happen. It's due to magnetics, it runs into interference, and that planet seems to have a lot of metals, so higher magnetic fields.
I'm still heading towards it.
Okay.
Just full speed ahead. I saw
Okay.
something. I'm going after it.
All right. If you break away, that's going to be leaving your partner behind at the ship, just so you're aware.
Well, that's what he told me to do.
Okay, perfect. So you go ahead and head towards the planet. There is an asteroid field. You get close to the planet itself. Like I mentioned, it does have a high magnetic field to it. You start checking your sensory gear, and it's complete garbage where you are right now. You're going to have to rely on visuals. And looking around, you aren't able to detect anything. It looks like they may have gotten away, maybe used the belt to kind of cover themselves up.
And after leaving the belt, I received no more.
Yeah, if you exit out of the belt to where you can finally get out to where you can start running sensors again, you're not able to pick them up again. So it looks like they may have gone to the planet. Let's go ahead and shift over to Strider.
You're muted.
All right, Strider. So you are in a T intersection of hallways, and you're coming up, and there's two fire teams on the opposite side, and they're basically firing down the path that you're at. You managed to find some cover behind like a door that you propped open, but that doorway just leads into like a small medical bay and a bed, so it's not really an escape for you.
Alright. So as like bullets or plasma beams or whatever it is they shoot in this age are, flying back and forth, sparks and everything, I'm gonna wait for a lull in the fire real quickly, and I kind of, cock the gun and it makes like sound. And I throw the door open, and I step out and down one of the hallways. I'm just trying to shoot one of the guys and then duck back in really quickly.
Okay. Go ahead and go in guns blazing.
All right. So that is an 8 plus a 9.
Okay. Another option that you can do, actually, before we go much further, is you can get in someone's face if you wanted to like charge in the hallway and try and throw them off by like a desperate move type of deal.
Yeah.
If you do that, you can make them lose their cool. You can make them storm out if you're successful, or they can say something that you want to hear if you're trying to get information from them.
Alright. Well, that sounds really dangerous since they're shooting at me, so I'm still going to try and shoot one of them down first.
Okay, so you're going to try and take them down. There are 3 of them that are down the hallway, by the way. So what was your total?
9.
9. Okay, you're going to shoot, and one of them is actually going to nail you in the leg with a shot, and it's going to be 1 point damage.
All right.
When you get hit, it's a photonic weapon, so it's going to be like basically kind of Star Wars blasters kind of thing.
All right, so I don't even like yell out when I get hit. I'm used to this type of pain. I have more scars than they could probably give me, even if they did kill me right now. But you do see like the whole kind of like burning through the flesh and skin and everything. And knowing that a firefight when I'm at this disadvantage is really bad. Like so, it's a T and they're shooting down the pathway. So are they like shooting like straight down at me, or like when I step out, they can take aim because I'm out of my cover?
They've been kind of just hail of gunfire down there. If you would like, you may assist the situation, and you may gain some information since you're a veteran. That might be something that you would consider doing, or you can continue to try and pick off ones because there's only there's 3 of them there. One of them's been injured.
All right, I'm first going to try and assess the situation.
Okay.
So that is a 12 plus 1.
Awesome. So you're going to get 3 questions. If you go to the PDF, page 18, that's where assess the situation is. You can pick 3 of those questions.
Go down real quick to page 18. Okay, so what is my best way out?
Okay. The best way out that you can think of would actually be set up an ambush by hiding inside the medical room and making them come down the hallway to you. Because it doesn't look like they have any anything to breach hallways or anything like that. They're pirates. They don't look like they're military trained. So you figure if you were to set up a little fortified area, give yourself some cover, you could probably pick them off as they come to the door.
Alright. What is the enemy strategy?
The enemy strategy is to eliminate you.
Alright. And what is the biggest threat to us right now, like as a whole?
Okay. The biggest threat to you as a whole would probably be the damaged ship. It looks like the ship itself may come apart. Secondarily, Rykith may have some sort of escape pod or something inside the ship that you're not aware of yet.
Alright, so this situation is pretty grim. I know my partner's off trying to find the other mech and everything, so I'm alone for at least another 5, maybe 30 minutes or longer. So I want to duck back into the medical bay and slam the door shut, and I want to kind of like, basically start flipping over things to cover beds and all that, and just like, like an ambush stance behind one of them.
Okay. Yeah, so you go ahead and start rolling over the beds and set up kind of a barricade for yourself. The door opens outward, so you're going to see them coming as soon as they come down the hallway, and they're going to send down a scout. You're going to hear just one person coming down, which means that they're at least clever. And he opens the door, and you can just see him plain as day. If you'd like to go ahead and take a shot at him.
So the moment he opens the door, I'm just trying to light this mofo up. Beams just flying like crazy out of my
you
gun.
can just do damage to him. I'm not going to make you roll for the attack or anything.
So that's just 1 damage straight off. This is a sidearm and everything. I'm trying to shoot him like in the eye or something.
Okay. So you hit him in the head. He screams in pain and kind of doubles back, and you see him start to pull up his gun, but he hasn't quite recovered yet. If you'd like to go ahead and go in guns blazing, this is your opportunity.
I'm going to since he hasn't really taken aim at me yet. I want to try and do like a trick shot where I'm either going to hit him in the eye since he's holding his gun in front of him, or hit the gun and kind of like knock it out of his hand or something while damaging him.
Okay, so you want to try and disarm him?
Yeah,
we can do that.
Try. Yeah, all right. So was that just guns blazing or?
Let me take a look here.
Steel, maybe?
I would say that that's going to be a... We'll say it's do something gutsy, which is going to be style.
All right. I do have 5 XP, by the way, and this would be a 6th one.
Okay.
All right. So I'm gonna just do this first. Okay, that is a success because that is a 10 total.
All right, awesome. So you do it and you make it look good. You're going to gain a respect from that roll. You're going to shoot him, and I'm going to say that the way you shoot him, because he's got his gun kind of a little too high, because you could tell he's kind of an inexperienced guy, you're actually going to shoot the gun out of his hand and do damage to his head all in one go.
All right. And then, since he's still just standing there, I shot him once in the eye, so he's stumbling, and now he's, really bleeding. I'm assuming all burned up and everything. I'm taking one more shot to the head, try to put him down for good.
Okay.
Alright, so that is, hey, yeah, buddy, a 13.
13, awesome. So he's going to take the full brunt of your attack. You also gain respect for that.
Alright.
So you shoot him, he hits the ground, you can hear him wailing in pain. You could get out of there and just finish him off, but if you do, you're going to kind of be out of cover. You can hear footsteps as they're trying to go down the hallway and maybe either recover him or try and start firing on you.
I'm going to duck behind the bed real quick, and I'm going to wait until they come around the corner, and I'm just going to, quickly shoot at one of them, try to, like in the kneecap or something, basically knock them over, trip them up or something like that, make it hard for them to all come through the door at once.
Okay. For this combat, we're just going to narrate it out now. We don't need to keep doing rolls or anything. So they come around the corner, and you're ready for the first one to come around to try and grab his buddy. And he comes in, and he goes to reach for him, but he's kind of smart, and he's got his body behind the door, and he's just reaching forward. So you kind of curse under your breath, and you just adjust your aim a little, and you just pelt him right in the chest, and he gets knocked over. And you can see somebody drag him back who's behind the door, but they're having a hard time trying to recover the person that's on the ground, which you've left as kind of bait for them. And eventually you're able to kind of pick them off, and you're able to kind of clear that situation and get out of there. You'll hear a little click sound that lets you know that your ally is within radio range again.
Alright, so I'm running down the hallways. I'm just trying to get back to my mech now because I know basically working my way up through here is almost impossible, and taking this guy back alive is foolhardy right now. So I'm ready. I'm like, Rogue Dog, take out the headquarters and everything, kill everyone in there, no survivors. As I'm running to my mech.
Okay. Rogue Dog, as you're coming up, you see a couple escape pods come off, and there's the main ship itself. What would you like to do?
If I can catch any of the escape pods. Now I don't know who is in the escape pods, right? Like There's no
Yeah, you're
identifying.
not sure who's inside the escape pods. There's about three of them that are getting fired off, and you know that the escape pods have been designed that they're going to go to the closest planet, which actually is a planetoid from here. It's a moon that has no real features, no atmosphere. So if they go there, they're kind of screwed anyways.
But I don't know if Rykit is in any of those escape pods, and we're supposed to acquire him, correct?
Yeah, you're not sure if he's in any of the escape pods yet. If you'd like, you can assess the situation to ask a few questions as well.
um. Oh no, I'm just gonna go balls out.
Okay.
So, how far away from each other are these escape pods?
Two fired out from the port side, which is the left, and two fired out from the starboard side.
And where's the nearest planetoid in regards to the ship?
Uh, it's for how fast the ship or the little pods are going to go. It's only going to take them a couple hours to reach.
Port or starboard is pretty much what I'm asking.
It's going to be to the port side. And you're coming from the starboard side, so the two of them are firing out towards you and trying to adjust their trajectory to go over the ship and back.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna grab one with my chain fist, and not necessarily destroy it, but just see if I can grab it and tear
Yeah,
into.
they're little ejection pods, and so if you were to grab one of them, you could actually just manipulate it around to where you could see in the window and see who's inside.
Wow, they're that small?
Yeah, they're real small. They're basically just a man in a chair.
All right, cool. I'll grab it and I'll turn it around, and if it's not right click, I'll just activate the chain fist and crush it.
Okay. Let's say that. We're gonna say that's actually we're not even gonna require a roll for that because I don't see anything that's close to that. But we'll say that you can go ahead and grab onto the first one. You grab it and you turn it around, and you're looking at it. It looks like a regular pirate inside this one, not somebody that you recognize. You've got Ricketts' dossier in front of you. It definitely doesn't look like him.
I crush it.
You crush him? Okay. Yeah, the pods have no real defense. You just like crunch, and then you could start going after the second pod.
And I'll start going after the second pod. If I can use the crushed up first pod as not necessarily to damage the pod, but just throw it at it, see if I can get it a little bit off course to trip it up.
Okay. You throw it. What I'd like you to do is go ahead and give me a guns blazing. This doesn't really count as guns blazing, but we're going to use it to kind of assess the roll for it.
All right, so that's a 12.
All right, awesome. So you achieve your goal. It's going to do the damage to the ship. You're going to hit the pod, and that pod that one person's in is going to spiral, and like the engine's going to shut off. You know that you just kind of barely winged it, and so that pod is disabled. It's just going to float there.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna fly past that pod towards the others, and just let them know that one's not going anywhere, Striker.
All right, so let's go back to Strider real quick, and we'll go back to you for finishing that last pod here. Strider, you've made it to your mech, and your mech has been anchored in place, and you're able to get back into it. There is a mech gun that you can pick up here if you need a ranged weapon for the situation. It's actually inside the garage area still from one of the enemies. It's
Alright,
the
so
assault
I jump
rifle
back and
one.
everything. The cockpit closes around me. I start hitting all the buttons to get it back on. Everything steam's bellowing out of it. I sheath the sword back onto its back, and I kind of like locks into place. And I grab the gun up and the one good arm I do have left, and I'm blasting out of the cockpit. And I'm moving up towards the headquarter area. I'm trying to assess the situation, see what's going on inside of there.
Okay, perfect. Go ahead and roll plus brains.
All right. That is a 8.
An 8. All right, so you get to ask one of those questions.
All right, let me look at the questions again. What is the what is the enemy hiding? I guess I'll go with.
Okay. So you look in, and the bridge has like a clear display or a clear windshield basically on it.
Mm-hmm.
And you're looking in, you can see someone piloting, but he's the wrong build for Ricketh. It looks like Ricketh is not in the con.
Alright. So I'll look at everything because I know there's a second pod that was ejected according to Road Dog. And I look at it and I look back inside and I want to open up communications one more time. And as I do, and I say to the dude piloting, I'm saying, if there's any commanding officers left in there or any members of the official fleet, tell me now or you are all eliminated.
It comes back on, and you see a guy who's like poorly like dressed as a commanding officer. Like he's got Ricketh's jacket on that's got like some pirate emblems and stuff on it, and he's like, I'm in charge. We surrender." And you see him like put his hands up and everything.
All right.
Ricketh
So
left.
I knowing that since they did say they surrender, I won't just needlessly kill them and everything. So I fly over to the pod that I'm hoping that Ricketh is in, and I grab it and look at it.
Okay, so are you going after the one that is still in transit moving, or are you going after the one that's been disabled?
The one that's still in transit moving.
Okay, both you and Rogue Dog are heading after that one. Rogue Dog was already in transit towards that one, so we'll actually shift over to Rogue Dog.
All right.
Yep, same thing. I grab it, turn it around, see if I see Ricketh.
All right, so you grab this one and you turn it around, and it's another pirate that you don't recognize.
And did Strider give the order to stand down as far as killing?
No need to kill these guys. Let's just take them in.
This one I just hold in my hand.
You just like rip the engine off and just let it float for a little bit.
Oh no, I'm actually not letting it go.
Oh, you just hold on to it. Yeah, it tries to kick the engine on, and you can feel it like push your arm. And you're like, nope, nope, nope. You're not going anywhere.
Whenever he does try to kick the engine on, I just I start up the chain fist, not enough to crush it, but just enough to move a little bit and start scraping away at the front flash of it.
You can tell that he gets the idea because he immediately starts cutting things off. There's no longer any thrust from this pod.
And start heading over to the dead pod.
All right, so you guys head over to the one that is dead in space. When you turn that one around, this one is definitely Ricketh. He is not wearing his coat or anything that he used to have on the last time you talked to him.
And I hold my mech's out. I hold my mech's hand out for a Rogue Dog to hand me this pod, the one with Ricketh in it.
Yeah.
Alright. So as he hands it to me, I open up, communications command again. I say subject acquired, sending report information now, and I start typing stuff in and everything, sending information reports about the situation. And I look to the Ricketh's pod and I say, what happened in there? Where are the commanding officers?
Ricketh will open up transmission with you because he's pretty much lost at this point. He'll tell you, I don't work for him. We used to for a while, but Robbie got greedy and he was taking too much of his cut and not sharing with his men, so we broke off. I want that bastard dead as much as you guys do.
Where is Robbie now?
Well, last I knew, he was on Terra 9-7, which Terra 9-7 is the official designation according to the Terran map for the planet inside this atmosphere or inside this system that has the heavy magnetics in the belt around it.
Strider just sighs deeply, and the hand of his mech kind of squeezes in a bit more, kind of cracking the shell, but not enough to actually threaten the dude inside. And he lets the pod go, and he relays the information back to command, and he's like, should we go ahead and get pursuit, find Robbie on the planet, bring him in for questioning?
Negative Alpha Squad, your unit has received enough radiation damage and damages from combat. Return to base.
Understood. And I relay that information to Rogue Dog. Like Rogue Dog, we're taking it in, grab the pods, we're going. And I look back to the ship, and I don't know what I should do with those people on the ship because they're kind of marooned out here and everything. But like, would I know if there's a way to take them back, or
Yeah,
are
you
just kind of
guys.
stuck there?
You guys actually do have some anchors built onto your mechs where you can just anchor onto the ship and pull it. So long as they're not like using their own thrust to fight against you, they should be able to drift along with you.
Were we supposed to take prisoners?
Yes, you were
Yeah.
told by command to go ahead and capture the pirates.
hmm
You guys are
So,
essentially like interstellar police, essentially.
All right.
And so
alright.
these pirates, it's worthwhile to capture them because you're supposed to imprison them and things like that.
Okay. No, I don't know why, but I was thinking like I like Dead Dread for some reason.
So I send information to Rogue Dog, and I say, Rogue Dog, help me pull this shit back in. And I kind of, I drop my anchor, and I kind of step into the hole, and I turn back to the communications I had open with the actual pilot of the ship, and I say, if you so much as touch the thrusters, you'll be blown into outer space and left for dead. I instantly terminate that communication right there with the pilot dude inside the ship. And I just start pulling on the anchor to try and take him back to the main area.
I
Okay.
just when he says, I'm like, no, Strand, I got this, and I take the escape pods, and I use some some cabling, and not the main anchor, but some cabling, and actually situate them right behind the thruster of the ship.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. You guys are able to drag it back to the Huntress. You guys get it on board, and the military police kind of clear out the ship and get everybody disarmed and off board. The guy who was put in charge of the ship after Ricketh left is named Jace Risson. You find out that he was a cargo hauler that kind of turned pirate by opportunity. Basically, Ricketh took over his ship and during the last pirate raid and lost his own ship. So he basically took over the ship and gave Jace the option: do you want to be a pirate or die? And so he took pirate. Um, you find out that command is looking at possibly giving him a lighter punishment because he hadn't actually perpetrated any crimes at this point.
Alright.
Well, if do we find this out like in an official hearing or?
Yeah, you're able to hear that in an official hearing. They do some investigations. There were some actual hostages on board as well, which is the cargo hauler crew, the original crew. Um, it looks like Jace was actually kind of blackmailed into being the captain of the ship, and it seems like he might be another good point of contact for you to gather some information.
Alright, so when we got back and everything, since my leg was wounded, I had that nasty burn on it, I went and got that patched up, it was healed through all this fancy space technology that they got these days, but it still looked a pretty, visible, glassy looking burn scar on my leg.
Hmm.
And after the official hearing and everything, I call up Road Dog, since he is my partner for the mission, and I want to go to Jace, and I want to talk to him about the situation. So I want to find where he is first, and then, work from there.
Okay.
Rogo
Um,
will be in the docks trying to take care of his mech the entire time, screaming at the technicians.
all right. So Rogue Dog is screaming at technicians, and he sees an old friend, Quartermaster Hastened. Hastened is kind of a chubby guy. He's kind of greasy looking all the time. Like he eats too much greasy food, so he looks greasy, kind of greasy. Um, he's going over the cargo ship, and he's basically acquiring the goods for your ship, which is pretty normal for that guy. He's kind of a shady quartermaster. He's like, oh look, they have a bunch of steaks. We're taking those.
When I see him, I walk up to him. I'll greet him by slapping him like a backhanded slap into his belly.
Ah, Rogue Dog. I didn't see you coming. So, you couldn't get more of the supplies for us? I mean, really, did you have to eject half of them?
Look, look, it was a firefight, and I does what I do. I mean,
Well, there is some good news. They had steaks, real steaks, from cows, not these replicators.
well, I hope you leave some for old Road Dog.
Yeah, yeah, you acquired it, you get some. You guys will be able to get some down at the mess halls later tonight. I heard that
That's
that
good.
I heard that that cargo hauler Jace might be given a chance to prove his loyalty to the collective.
Yeah, we'll see about that. But I'll go look into that right now. But do me a favor, take care of my baby over here. And I'm pointing over to my neck.
I don't know how you expect me to do better than the crew. I mean, you're hard enough on them. They know what they're doing.
Keep an eye on them. Keep an eye on them. They can't.
So you just want me to yell at them and drink some coffee. I can handle that. He
Yeah.
grabs his thermos and starts walking over there and he's screaming at people about doing stuff wrong. You know he has no idea what he's talking about. He's just telling them to work harder and takes a cup like a
Just
drink.
hearing him scream is enough consolidation for me. I feel comforted, and in that moment of comfort, I start making my way to Strider so that we can interrogate this fellow.
Okay. So you make it over to Strider. You guys are in the medical bay. Strider's getting checked out. They basically sprayed him with some antiseptic and put on some synth skin to kind of patch him up. Strider, being the grizzled veteran who likes his scars, basically walks out and rips off the synth skin because that'll keep him from getting a scar.
Mm-hmm. And when I whip it off, it hurts like a bitch to rip off the fake skin, but he just kind of like
Yeah.
when he tears it off and he balls it up and throws it away into like a trash can or something. And he sees Road Dogg and he says, "Let's make this quick. I'm hungry. I'm tired. I want to hit the missus up."
All right. So you guys head down to the investigation room. Basically, Jace has been set aside, and he's handcuffed to the table. It's one of those classy police tables where they've got the loop and the handcuffs are fed through. You check in with the interrogator who's been in charge, which is Lieutenant Gray. Lieutenant Gray basically tells you that Jace has been forward and has been actually pretty helpful, identified which ones are pirates, which ones are actually on the crew roster. And it looks like he's trying to do what he can to get the lightest sentence possible. So this should be a fairly easy investigation.
Thank you very much for that. That means I won't be needing this. And he takes off the gun from his holster and hands it to the interrogator for him to hold on to as he does his own interrogation.
Okay.
And he looks at Road Dogg and he says, "No need to do the whole stereotypical good cop, bad cop thing I know you probably saw in a movie that you want to try. We're going to go in there, we're going to talk to him like men, and we're going to make this quick and efficient. Understand?"
God damn it.
And as Rogue Dogg says, "God damn it," Strider has like a flashback to when he was Rogue Dogg's age and he actually did the bad cop, good cop thing, and how horribly it went. So he's just trying to impart some wisdom as he says that, and then he goes into the interrogation room.
Okay. So so you go in there, and Jace is he's a real thin guy. Like, you could tell that he's done hard work his whole life because he's got like a strong build, but it's one of those like real thin, strong builds that you see on like construction workers and stuff like that aren't like out of shape yet. Like, he's got that kind of look going on him. He's definitely done blue collar work and probably honest work for his entire life. They've got him up in some prison stripes right now. And when you guys come in, he was given a glass of water from the interrogator, and there's a pitcher of water on the table for you guys as well. He seems to be relaxed, not really tense at the moment.
Alright, so I woke up, pull up a chair. I don't even look at him or say anything to him. I sit in the chair, still not looking at him, and I grab the glass and I pour a glass of water. I take a very, very, very long drink from the glass, but in reality, I'm just kind of barely sipping from it. And I put it back down and everything. And I reach into my pocket and I pull out this small like cube, and I tap the front of it, and it kind of expands open into like kind of like an iPad looking thing, holographic. And on it, stuff, information comes about him. And I'm still not looking at this guy. I'm just scrolling through and everything, picking out things about his life and everything, his name, if he has any family, what he's been doing with most of his life, his education. And satisfied, I put it back down and I look to him and I say, "Okay, first off, would I know if this guy has any kids or wife or anything?"
You pull up his file because I started a police file on him. You find out that he's got a wife that actually lives on Earth, which is the central planet for the Terran Collective, and you're not sure about any sort of kids, but that seems to be the only relative that's present on the file. It looks like this is the first time he's ever been in trouble for anything.
Alright. So I'm moving through anything. I finally say to him, still not looking at him, still looking at the file and say, "Looks like Mary's having trouble with all the medical bills you guys have."
Yeah, that's kind of why I do the cargo shipping. It pays well enough, even if I can't be home all that much.
It's gonna be hard to pay for those if you go to jail for a long time. You know the sentence for piracy?
It's usually execution. If you're lucky, it's lifetime.
Hmm. Rogue Dog, how often are people lucky and not executed?
Rogue Dog walks up. He grabs a chair. He looks. He looks the guy dead in his eyes. Doesn't say anything. Just smiles and drags the chair slowly over. Spins it around.
He starts
Spinning
kind
on
of
it
stumbling
backwards.
over his words, and he's like, "But the chief interrogator told me that I would be allowed a plea. That given my history, I might be able to get better than just life, like a few years."
It depends. Maybe that few years can be reduced too, or you could just be executed here right now. Depends on how good of a plea this is.
Well, I'll help you any way I can. I just did this so that I could save my crew. They told me if I showed them and unlocked all the gears and everything for them, that they would take the ship and release my crew on the next planet.
I'm pretty sure when it comes to freighters and everything, you actually have protocols and everything that I'm pretty sure you need to go through in case of a piracy attack, no?
Yeah, that's why they kept me around. They wanted me to undo all the security measures.
Mm. And he puts down the tablet and he finally looks at him. His eyes are really steely gray, and he looks Jay straight in the eyes and he says, "Listen, I need a record, a detailed record of every single thing it said, what they were eating, what they wanted to do, and as much information as you can give me about these people. All right? The better the information, the shorter your sentence."
He he goes, okay, well, I gave most of that to the interrogator. Let me think if I left anything out. And he starts kind of like rubbing his head. And he goes, there was this girl, Joanna Tennels. She was supposed to be new to their crew. I, I don't think they trusted her entirely. She was strange. I
Too
couldn't figure out
strong.
what was going on with her. Yeah, she always had this really intent look in her eyes. The ship blew up, and I'm inclined to believe it was her. They said that they saw a small mech leave. That's her. She carries an exosuit.
An exosuit, I see, I see. Do you have any idea for why she would want to blow up the ship? Never talked to her?
No, I didn't get a chance to talk to her. She kind of creeped me out. You never know with people that aren't born in the soul system. They sometimes manifest weird powers.
Did she display any weird powers when she was on the ship?
No, but I've seen that look before. She could be a psyker.
Hmm.
Interrupting the conversation, Rogue Dog will reach clear across the table, bisecting the two of them for the pitcher of water, and
You
then
you
just pour
see
himself
Jace kind of like lean back, like he's expecting you to hit him or something.
and just drag the pitcher of water to my side, sit back down, and pour myself a glass.
um,
He takes like a quick drink of his water, and he goes, she was bald and she had a tattoo on her skull. It was some sort of bird. I've never seen anything like it before.
what color was the tattoo?
The uh, the tattoo itself, it was almost a golden color. You
I
you
start.
recognize what she's talking about? That is actually a tattoo that would belong to the Solar Keel Pirates,
Mhm.
which is Robbie Thompson's group.
All right. So I pull up. I take up the pad again. I start pulling up information about these solar kill pilots and everything. And I see if we have any dossiers and everything. If we do, I kind of slide the tablet over to Jace and I say, "Is she any one of those?"
Okay. He starts like passing through them, and then he gets to one of them, and it's this girl that has like black hair that's all shifted over to one side and just part of her head shaved, but you can see the same tattoo. And he stops for a second. He goes, "This one," but she had her whole head shaved when we saw her.
Alright, so I take it back across the table and everything, and I pick it up, and I am now reading through her dossier to see what kind of information I can get from it.
Okay. Joanna Tennels is her actual name. It looks like she was using that on the ship there. She is wanted for crimes of piracy, murder, and treason. Um, it's believed that she is part of the Solar Keel Pirates under command of Robbie Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it looks like she is believed to be a psyker. There's no evidence to prove otherwise, or to prove that she is.
Mm-hmm. I kind of like suck my teeth, like sound like when I'm reading it, and I take another drink from my glass and I put it down and I say, "What do you think she was was on the ship?
I don't know if what they said is true. I think she was a spy or trying to sabotage Ricketh. These pirates, they hate each other. Ricketh used to swear about Robbie. Inside the mess deck, he put up a picture, and the men would practice throwing knives at it.
Did they ever say what the nature of their particular disagreement was?
Ricketh said that Robbie was cutting into his profits and wouldn't share with his men. Apparently, about half the crew came from the Solar Keels.
Storylines then. And the pack closes down back into the cube and he puts it in his pocket again. He looks back to Jason. He says, "Any more information?"
No, I can't think of anything else. He kind of thinks for a second. You know, there was one thing. Ricketh said that Robbie had something on him, but he didn't say what it was. He seemed really agitated about it.
Any ideas?
No, it seemed like maybe Robbie had something that he really wanted, like something valuable.
Hmm. He kind of rubs his nose like this. He drinks his water again. And saying there's basically little information he can get from this guy at this point, he says, your wife Mary, even if you got a few years, not gonna be able enough to pay the bills. I'll help her out with that. And then he stands up and just unceremoniously leaves the interrogation room.
Okay, as you leave and the door shuts behind, you hear like a soft thank you,
Hmm.
and you can see like from the reflection of a window because you're not looking back that he's like hanging his
Yeah.
head in shame and everything for his behavior.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm
All right.
still sitting there finishing up my glass. I'll put it down there and I'll turn to Jace and just scowl at him. Just say, "You weren't supposed to cooperate." And
I'm
then
sorry, say that again. You broke up a little bit.
I'll tell him you weren't supposed to cooperate and get up and walk away.
He just looks kind of confused and like leans back because he's afraid you're gonna strike him again.
And I just walk out.
All right.
Okay. So the next thing that would happen would be to go to command to get debriefed. Uh, Commander Tewalk is inside the officers' mess, waiting for you guys. When you arrive, there are fresh, actual beefsteaks, not replicator food. They've got potatoes and stuff. Like this is actual, like from Earth food. It's like the best meal you've had in months.
Strider doesn't really have any facial expression at this, but deep down, he is unbelievably ecstatic to have a nice, rare cut of beef for the first time in months. And he sits down, and even before the debriefing begins, or he's even given permission, he quickly cuts out a slice and he sniffs it to make sure it's authentic. And he takes one bite, and as he does, he just closes his eyes. He's like,
Yeah, you guys don't even care that the cook put too much salt on it. You're just like, oh my god, it's real beef.
and he is savoring every bite, just going, mm. He
So
takes a while to swallow it too.
So the commander is actually going to finish the meal, and then after the meal's done, he's going to hand out data slates, and you know that the other officers from the other teams have gotten data slates with basically the information that you guys had. And he goes, "Would you like to add anything to the brief?" This is what you initially gave him about seeing the ships and stuff like that.
Alright, so I'm out to a brief, and I'm also saying it out loud. I say, apparently, half the crew broke away from what was it, Robbie's crew. Apparently, Robbie had something on him, something valuable that Rithik didn't like too much, caused a schism, and a spy. And he brings up Johanna again on his own pad and everything, and he shows it to the commander. And he
Okay.
says, and he says she was a spy. She caused the engines to explode, and that's why I suspected everything. Had an exosuit to get out. Likely a psychotia. No confirmation yet.
Very good. Do you have anything to add, Rogue?
Just chewing. There's nothing left. He finished what he was eating, but he's just chewing and just savoring the aftertaste in his mouth.
Very well, men. And we are looking at an initial punishment of 6 years. Do you have anything to say on behalf of Jace?
Man's a good man. His wife has medical issues. I suggest 2 years.
Do you concur, Rogue?
I was like, yeah, he's a pushover.
Very well. We'll take in your recommendation for consideration.
All right.
Your mission is complete. If you have not already checked in with Medical Bay check-in, we believe that there may have been a radiation leak in Rogue Dog's unit.
Mm.
Oh, hell.
And he looks to Road Dog and he says with all seriousness, "Get that checked out." And he looks back to the commander and keeps on
You
going.
know that a radiation leak means that they're going to shoot you with like 40 needles,
Mhm.
and they're going to do all sorts of tests on you. It's just going to be a nightmare for the next 2 days.
Oh, hell.
And
All
no
right,
matter
guys,
how, go ahead.
go ahead.
I was gonna say, and no matter how uncomfortable it is, and I know where they like to put their fingers, do the radiation cure, and I just keep on going through.
Okay. All right, so that is going to complete this part of the mission. I will be posting a second game for Omega Squad, which we'll be picking up using the information gained from this game to continue the hunt for Robbie Thompson. And if you guys are in the W3 and I don't happen to get too many other people interested, you guys can join that one as well, but I am looking to grab some fresh meat for this one.
Yeah.
All right, so for the end of session, let me take a look here because each Dungeon World game is a little bit different. I want to make sure that there's nothing special that we got to do for the end of session.
How many pirates did you guys kill?
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's anything special for the end of session stuff for this one. If I'm sorry, here we go. At the end of any deployment or downtime sequence, if two players agree that the relationship between them has changed, you can do so. Let's see. Try to avoid going from friendship all the way to rivalry or vice versa. Do you guys think that your friendship has changed any to be negative?
Not particularly, no.
Okay. If you do join us or join me again for another one shot, you guys can go ahead and play Rogue Dog and Strider again, so you'll be able to use all your experience and come back and have a little more fun with it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and finish up with the broadcast. Let's go ahead and do some sign-offs here. We'll start with Nelson. Do you have anything you'd like to shout out for?
Yeah, like I said before, I have Facebook and YouTube both under Infinite Roleplay. I've been doing a lot of artistic and cartography tutorials on my channel. I'm planning on running. Chris knows. Planning on running an adventure game where the players literally explore a world, and while they're exploring the world, they're taking part in actually creating the world. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah, and I will actually provide a link in the bottom of this video in the description here. Nelson has also been putting together some stuff for Drive-Thru RPG, some generic world maps and things like that, and I believe some of them are actually pay what you want, and I think the most expensive one you've got is like $1, which is pretty reasonable for having like a map pack that you guys can put cities and stuff like that on there, especially considering the amount of time he's put into them.
Yeah, I've got my map packs usually come with each map comes with at least one additional variation. The last map pack I put out was one world map, but it's got a color map, a sepia map, and then a region map or like a political map where there's suggested divisions of kingdoms based on the topography of the map.
All right, and let's go ahead and go over to Marquise.
Yeah, so like I mentioned earlier, I'm Stereotypical Strider. As a YouTube I run. I do a lot of live plays. I have some new one-shots for a 3-off coming up for my own homebrew setting. I also have a blog for it, so if you guys would check that out, you can find a link to that on my YouTube as well. Also check out the W3. Some crazy wild games going on there, such as this one. I hope to game you guys soon.
Yeah, and let's see here. Okay, I had the QA app open here. It looks like I got a question from somebody asking about if this is real life stuff. It sounds like you may have came in the middle or not necessarily understood what the post was about. This is a tabletop role-playing game, and yeah, there were people going to jail in it. All right. So I am Chris Wilhelm from Drop Dice. My full name on Facebook and then drop dice for pretty much everything else. If you guys want to check out any of those, if you are looking to do a Souls of Steel game, you can join the RPG W3 or Wild Wild West group. That will be the next one that's coming up. And then I've decided that I will be doing a third version, which will be a European edition, because I've got some of our players inside the other time zones that are looking to play. So I'm going to have to adjust my schedule and play at like 2 in the afternoon or something like that to match up with them. But there'll be at least 2 more one-shots of this, and if it turns out we've got people that are interested, like I said, you can go ahead and talk to Miss Dana Freed, who I will provide a link to her page as well if you would like to provide any sort of feedback that you noticed from the game, or just get the game and try it out yourselves. You can go ahead and contact her. She's been doing a loose release of the playtest information, and her intent is to go ahead and get some feedback. So, all right, guys, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you at the gaming table.